Welcome everybody, Red Arrow 23 here. We're going to add another addition to the playbook. Today we're going to be doing the left and top shield on green court. So let's boom this beach! So we've got PA coming at us from Angry Breezy. He's helping out over there. We'll have a look at them at the end. So let's jump straight in with the all Zuka attack, no hero. And this is what we're looking at. We've got the top shield is damaged a little bit. Someone must have used a barrage or an artillery, probably barrage because it's damaged the mortars as well, whilst they were going for the front and the right shields. So we're just going to run it once all the way through, and I'm just going to sort of talk as we go. I'll play it on 2 times, so we'll try and keep the video as short as possible. So using the smoke on the right to protect from the mortar. And then we're just going to gather down here, flare up, and then we're going to flash kill the shield, which is pretty gangster. And then we're going to do our intermediary flare, noting that we've lost the delay on the bottom section of rocket launchers, but not the top rocket launchers over on the right hand side. Now he flares onto the top one, uses critters and shocks for the rocket launchers down low, and just uses the delay for the rocket launchers up top, and then barts the core. So great hit from PA. Let's have a look at it in a bit more detail. Trying to mix up the format and make sure that we show it once all the way through so players can work out their GBE and have a quick, easy reference when they're referring to the playbook. Trying to keep everybody happy. Give the people what they want, and here we go. So we got mortars on the left hand side. You sometimes have machine guns in the front which have a bit more range as well. So you will probably need a smoke around here. Just check out the ranges. When we see all the boats land, that is where they're going to be. So if you're looking at your green court right now, just be sure to check out that point on the beach. And see, the flamethrower is out of range, but if it was a machine gun, it'd be right on the verge, and the mortar would definitely be clipping some. So we've got that there. One smoke's going to take care of that, and it's nice and wide. And then we're just flagging low on the beach so that all the Zukas come across, and then they can start to fan out. We're not too worried about getting these 2 power cells. We've just got them by accident. We don't need them, I believe, for the hit. But the main thing we're doing is waiting for the trailing Zukas on the right hand side to tuck in. You can do a flare landing, that's definitely possible, and it might suit you better, and that'll work fine, and then all your Zukas will be gathered, so you can either flare straight up to the next point, but usually you get a nice little gather in here. So you got to watch out for the mortar range. See how that was right on the mortar range there. So the mortar's probably seen him, probably lost the delay. The sniper towers off to the right aren't really a big deal. They're not really a big player. Those mortars are out of range. So we want to gather in here. We can gather, if those power cells are still there, that's fine. We just gather just in front. And then the next flare, so we want all those Zukas to be nice and grouped. Just before the last ones stop, you want to be throwing your next flare. And you'll see that he's thrown this next flare in that exact spot where the glowing thing is above the clock, the flare clock. So right at the shield's 9 o'clock, just to the right of those power cells. And that is the perfect spot. Any further back and the Zukas start spreading through the power cells, any further forward and they start spreading with the shield. So here we go. We obviously want to be keeping our Zukas, right. The delay is very important. So the delay is the amount of time it takes a rocket or any defense to turn, target you and shoot. So we're going to use that delay to our advantage, and we can't let the rocket launcher see us at all. So we can't peek out of the smoke. I suggest throwing your last 2 smokes at the same time, just because you're going to be throwing them both anyway. You may as well time them at the same time. And then you'll see that PA has managed the perfect smoke and the perfect grouping, so none of his Zukas have peaked. This is very hard, and I don't even know if I suggest this. If I do this hit, I might not even do this. I might just end up the second to last smoke a bit higher, and double smoke. I will probably double smoke for this. They're all going to auto target the rocket launchers, so that's sort of the way that they're going to face or spread towards the shield, targeting the shield. So that's where you can sort of space your smokes. They don't need to be that wide, but it's very easy to peek from this position. And then he's flared onto the shield generator before the smoke has expired, and then he's looking, let's bring it into half speed, and we're about halfway up the map, and we're looking for a flash kill. So here we go. As soon as that, so we want the smoke to dissipate, we want the Zookas to be able to shoot, and then we want the smoke to come back on. So you've got to time that smoke perfectly. So it's basically just as the smoke is expiring, that's when you can tap, because you're at the middle of the map. That's about the right time. But definitely practice on your friendly challenges. Get it perfect. The Doom Cannon did pop off from the inside, but the lasers didn't fire, and the rocket launchers didn't fire. If either of those did, it would have been pretty much game over for the hit, because you would have lost like half the Zookas. So you've got a little bit of peek out the side, that's okay. The second flare point, or this third flare point I guess, you can either do it above the power cell that he's just walking past now, just around this corner, and then up to the spot, and they actually walk quite nicely. They like to sort of veer over towards the rocket launchers. You might be able to see it in another video in one of the highlights or something like that. But also this flare point works quite well, sort of in line with, you can see which rocket launcher it's in line with based on the lines on the map. So that's where the flare is. And because we're at the extreme range of the other rocket launchers, they're not going to sit and anchor very well, so he's going to flare before he actually reaches that flare. Then we want to keep the delay, so we've lost the delay on these rocket launchers, and these mortars are usually rocket launchers also, so you would have lost it on the rocket launcher above where that mortar is, maybe even that one, but probably at least this one. And so you want to keep your smokes nice and tight so you don't lose the delay on any of these rocket launchers that are above now, because we're going to use that delay as well in this hit. It's pretty crazy. So then we flared up onto this perfect spot right on that line, and then we get a double smoke going. They might stay in the top smoke, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. And then we flare onto the shield, and then let's bring it into a slow-mo. He's already thrown everything, I believe. So here come the critters have landed, and the shock. So the critters are going to distract the laser and the bottom rocket launchers, and he shocked the rocket launchers that he had already lost the delay on. Because he's already lost the delay, he's not going to get any shots off. They're going to turn and instantly fire on him. These rocket launchers up here haven't lost the delay, so they're going to turn and you're going to be able to get two salvos off. So you'll see that here, he gets his first salvo off, and the mortars have fired, and as has the Doom Cannon. So the Doom Cannon has about a shock launcher delay, which is slightly shorter or less time than a rocket launcher. So let's see, and that was one shot. He one-shot the shield. If there are any rocket launchers around, you can two-shot it. If the rocket launcher is the only thing in range, if there is a Doom Cannon range or lasers, then you can either throw a shock around here to get those defenses that are in range. You can throw critters nice and early so that see how the Doom Cannon actually targeted the Zookas. So they've got to be timed perfectly. These lasers all rip them up and the rocket launchers rip them apart. So yeah, and that's how you can take out the top shield as well in the same hit. And you're just going to let them run wild. And because looking at the rest of the map depends on what you guys are going to do. If you do have the troop damage to do the left and the top shield in one hit. Sorry, if you're going to do that, you can use 8 boats or you can use 7 boats or 6 or whatever, and you might be able to help clear up the landing or something like that, but you're not going to have a lot of GBE. If you have already got rid of the bottom 4 rocket launchers, I think it is. I can't click that bottom one because there's a shield. there's a shock. So if you have gotten rid of these 4 rocket launchers, what you can do is if you leave a spot for your warrior boat to land, you can flare onto this back left mortar, drop your boat of warriors, and they'll walk in and they'll stay in the, you'll lose, I think 2 to the mortars firing as they run up, and then you might lose 1 more who goes to the, sort of the left where these power cells are. But then the other, however many that are left, will just hammer away at these mortars and eventually take them out, probably within time. It takes about 2 minutes to do this hit, I believe. We can have a look in 4 seconds. And it will take, so you'll know that you've got a bit of time. So this hit took him 1:35 in total, from landing to getting up there, and he didn't do a flare land, but it doesn't really matter, it'll be about the same amount of time. So yeah, let's just run through one more time. We're using a smoke on the beach to protect ourselves. Then we're gathering just below the power cells, flaring up, and you need to keep the delay, so there's no peeking here. If you do peek, your backup plan is probably going to be flare the shield and throw shocks on all of the things that have peeked. And in that case, you may not be able to go for the top shield, and you might be able to just clear rocket launchers for the core rush. That's probably going to be your best bet. I mean, you have to come up with a best option for a backup plan if you do lose the peak, because whenever you're going for a flash kill, it's always very risky. And if you do lose the delay, that's it. You can't count on a flash kill. Alright, so here we go. Remember that if you don't have the true damage for a straight flash kill, either with 1 shot or 2 salvos if you're in range of rocket launchers only, you can still get it to like a barter ball value. So you might be able to get it down to 10k, and then someone can just throw maybe a barrage or a couple artillery, or 2 artillery, and that would take it down, and that would be really helpful. Or you can do it yourself. So here we go, get up to the spot, and we're going to straight combo flash kill with the critters and shocks for the lower ones, and using the delay on the top ones, spare GBE on the core. So great hit from PA. Thanks to Angry Breezy for hosting me for this video. They definitely need some players. They've been running Dead End and Deep Cut daily. They're kind of starting up. 90 intel, 5 GBE, 4 troop damage, so definitely get in, check them out. That'll do it for this video. Give us a comment down below if you do anything different for the left and top shields, if you've got any innovative ways to take them out, or whether you break it down a little bit slower and more hits. And give us a thumbs up if you like the video, thumbs down if you didn't, and subscribe for more Boom Beach.